Talk Line presented by MVB Bank, your most valuable bank, member FDIC. Here in West Virginia, there are two great jackpot games you can play from the West Virginia Lottery. Powerball has drawings on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Mega Millions has drawings on Tuesdays and Fridays. The Powerball jackpot is $227 million. The Mega Millions jackpot is $94 million. Please play responsibly. I know I didn't talk at all about my vacation last week. Well, there was not much to report. My wife and I went to Austin, visited my son for a couple days, had a great visit. Austin is a great city. Good time. Got back, hung out, did a couple things, back at work. There you go. That's all. I mean, nobody really cares that much about what other people do on their vacation, right? So that's the summary in 15 seconds. Thanks again to Shauna Johnson for filling in last week. I'll be back here tomorrow. I'll be here all week. Tip your cocktail waitress. This is Talk Line on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
WCHS AM Charleston, a West Virginia Radio Corporation station. It's 12 o'clock in the Mountain State.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham making a major announcement today.
Today, I'm suspending my campaign for president. I want to thank everyone who's taken this journey with me.
The South Carolina senator, unable to raise his numbers in the polls, spent the majority of his campaign in New Hampshire.
With its many veterans, Graham saw New Hampshire, not his home state of South Carolina, as the key to his campaign. He spent 63 days in the state, over a week more than any other candidate. In the end, that didn't seem to help. Despite barnstorming with his beloved buddy John McCain, his poll numbers were just as bad here as they were nationally. He peaked at 2% back in May. Brad Milkey, ABC News, Manchester, New Hampshire.
A potentially life-saving technology now a go on a stretch of Amtrak's busiest railway.
After Amtrak train 188 constantly accelerated and derailed in Philadelphia this past May, killing 8, Chris Hart at the National Transportation Safety Board told Congress it did not have to happen.
We know that a properly installed and functional positive train control, or PTC, would have prevented this accident.
Over the weekend, Amtrak activated positive train control between Philadelphia and New York. The system takes charge of a train if the operator falters. Amtrak's working on PTC for other lines and has installed cameras in certain locomotives. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Speaking out today against what they call a growing Islamophobia in America, CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations and Muslim American Leaders, announced an outreach program to educate the communities today in D.C., and they had a message for political candidates.
If you as a political candidate choose to spew hatred, bigotry, and to vilify Muslim Americans, you do so at your own political risk.
Altaf Hussein, Vice President of the Islamic Society of North America, speaking at the National Press Club, says they will not support a political candidate who disrespects Muslims. You're listening to ABC News.
Are you noticing your hair thinning? Are you seeing scalp where there used to be hair? Help is here. There's a breakthrough in the science of hair growth. The revolutionary new hands-free Hair Max laser band, designed by Pininfarina. It uses the science of laser light to safely and effectively regrow your hair. It delivers nourishing light energy to your hair follicles to stimulate hair growth right at the roots. Don't think you have the time to deal with hair loss treatment? Think again. The laser band provides the fastest laser treatment for hair loss available. Use it for as little as 90 seconds, 3 times a week, and experience new hair growth with increased density and fullness. It's clinically proven, FDA cleared, and backed with a 5-month money-back guarantee. So, you've got nothing to lose and a whole lot of hair to gain. Order today at hairmax.com or by calling 1-800-9-REGROW. That's 1-800-973-4769. Or order online at hairmax.com. Again, that's 1-800-973-4769. Live from downtown Charleston, West Virginia's state capital. Here's what's happening now from the voice of Charleston, 580 WCHS.
12:03 in the capital city on this Monday afternoon. I'm Jeff Jenkins in the 580 WCHS radio newsroom. Mostly cloudy conditions, 54 degrees in Charleston, and the 580 WCHS AccuWeather forecast will get close to 60 this afternoon. Still could have a couple of showers and a more steadier rain beginning overnight. We'll have more on AccuWeather coming up in just a few minutes following the news. The news is brought to you by United Structural Systems. That's foundation repair and waterproofing with outstanding service. Find out more at ifixfoundations.com, 800-555-8970. A 4-month-old child is in critical condition at CMC's Women and Children's Hospital after
The child's father allegedly violently shook the baby. 24-year-old Joshua Stephen Albany of Cross Lane allegedly became frustrated with the baby's crying yesterday. The boy is suffering from bleeding on the brain and a broken collarbone. Albany has been arraigned and is in the South Central Regional Jail on $100,000 bail. One man is dead, a second in custody, but Kanawah County authorities still trying to sort out the circumstances surrounding a murder Friday night. They've charged 38-year-old Scott Johnson Metter. They picked him up along U.S. Route 60 in the Jefferson area after finding a victim inside a strip club dead earlier on Friday. Sergeant Brian Humphreys of the County Sheriff's Department says they received several 911 calls about an unusual sight on McCorkle Avenue.
A man was walking with one shoe down McCorkle Avenue, and then he had blood all over him and was saying he'd killed someone. When another call came in that indicated somebody had found a dead man at the Foxy Lady club in Jefferson, deputies and troopers went there and verified that was the case, began locking down the crime scene.
The victim is identified as Glenn Carpenter Jr. That investigation continues. The West Virginia Healthcare Authority has started taking testimony today on a proposal to merge Cabell Huntington and St. Mary's hospitals in Huntington. It's a deal the Federal Trade Commission are already wary of, claiming it would create a monopoly for health care in the region. The West Virginia State University Board of Governors is getting started in its search for a new president. The board has been meeting in emergency session today. They found out last week that current President Brian Hemphill has been chosen as the new president at Radford University. It's 12:05 and this is 580 WCHS.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in bank taxes? Take down this number. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. With a call to Tax Admiral, you can stop the wage garnishment, levies, and tax liens now. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more, call to see if you qualify. 800-477-1993. 800-477-1993. 800-477-1993.
The 580 WCHS AccuWeather forecast, mostly cloudy and mild this afternoon. A couple of showers this afternoon with a high of 58. Cloudy tonight, mild with showers early, then a steadier rain after midnight, low 51. Tomorrow, areas of morning fog and rain. Lots of clouds, warm in the afternoon, high 65. 56 degrees now at 12:06 at your severe weather station, 580 WCHS, the voice of Charleston.
Everyone, thrill seekers, music lovers, conversationalists all across the fruited plain. Here we are, Christmas week. Told you on Friday that I was going to be here today, and I am. And we're going to be here tomorrow, too. And I'm not sure about Wednesday. What's the schedule on Wednesday? I'm not here on Wednesday? Not here on Wednesday. What if I decide I want to be, though? That screws everything up, right? They're all shaking their, no, you're not here on Wednesday. You already told us you're not. So, things are screwed up enough already, and I would screw them up even more by imagine where we've got to. Now, my showing up on my own show would screw things up here at the EIB. It makes about as much sense as everything else happening out there today. Hi, folks, how are you? It's great to be with you. It always is. Telephone number is 800-282-2882. And the email address, lrushbaugh@eibnet.com. So Hillary Clinton leaves the debate stage to go take a whiz. They timed it for her. She had a minute 45 seconds to get there, a minute 45 to get back, and whatever length of time it took to do the business. They had Huma. Huma Wiener was standing guard. They even timed this. They set this so they had Huma standing guard outside the restroom. When Hillary shows up to use the restroom, she finds out that there's somebody in there. So she refuses to go in. There are multiple stalls in this restroom. But Mrs. Clinton, in full queen mode, refused to go in the bathroom when there was another woman in there. And so she waited until that other woman came out. That other woman just happens to be the girlfriend of Elliot Spitzer, client number 9. Not that that matters to anything. It's just an interesting little side note. So Mrs. Clinton waits until Spitzer's girlfriend comes out of the bathroom before she goes in. And that means that she was late getting back to the debate. Ladder shy? No, I think it's probably security paranoia. Or else it is queen-like. Who knows? But I think the larger question is, how long did that debate? I didn't watch it. Did anybody watch the Democrat debate? How long was the debate? Well, but okay, but how long? It was 2 hours. You mean you can't hold it for 2 hours? You can't go to the bathroom before the debate and make it through 2 hours without it? Where are her medical records? This is the thing that made me curious about this. 2 hours? You have to leave the debate during a commercial break? Who does that? I mean, if anybody else has done it, we've never heard about it because they made it back on time. It shows you Mrs. Clinton's priority. She didn't care about getting back on time. That was not her priority. Then she's out there lying again about Trump being a recruiting tool for ISIS. He says there's videos out there of ISIS using Trump. It turns out there is a video out there, and it uses her husband. ISIS is using her husband as a recruiting tool. And also Barack Hussein is in that video. But imagine Hillary Clinton talking about a video even now. I thought it was last riot. And she makes it up. And I read some things over the weekend, places sympathetic to Hillary, and they're not upset she lied. And they don't think it means anything. They just think that she's trying to. And I've even, some of the tech blogs, Hillary is an absolute doofus when it comes to tech. She is worse than your grandparents who don't want to know anything about it. She's got this illegal server. She's doing all of these things with her emails that are in violation of the law. She doesn't understand the first thing about it technology-wise. She doesn't understand encryption. She doesn't know what she's talking about when she brings it up. And I'm reading this. The irony is, one of the husbands say, I don't know what I've ever heard of these things. Now, if you look at tech blogs, which of course are populated by left-wing young people, journalists, and so on, and the people that they are in favor of, the Democrats, here comes Mrs. Clinton as an absolute blithering idiot. She is an incompetent. She's unaware. She doesn't know the first thing about it, and it doesn't matter. The fact that she's ignorant about the things they care about most, the fact that she's ignorant about encryption, which these millennials, they care about this stuff, keeping the government out of their bedrooms and wherever, and yet they end up supporting people who violate their rights and don't know anywhere near as much as they claim, and yet they get their support. There's nothing Mrs. Clinton can do. She's going to be given the benefit of the doubt because there's a D by her name. She can be as stupid about things, as uninformed about things, as wrong about things. She can lie left and right, and she's still going to get the benefit of the doubt in terms of good intentions. Whereas a Republican presidential candidate, if he made or she talked about encryption or anything high-tech-wise like Hillary does, they'd be laughing at him and making fun of him and calling them old fogies. And the old guy that's yelling at people, get off the yard, we don't want this guy to be president, we don't even like this running our country because they're such doofuses. And yet Mrs. Clinton, who is at the head of a class of doofuses, when it comes to anything modern, they look the other way at it. Which brings me to an overall, based on something I read over the weekend. Dinesh D'Souza, name ring a bell? Dinesh D'Souza, a well-known conservative journalist and a well-known conservative filmmaker now. Dinesh D'Souza has made 2 movies about Obama, which attempt to explain things about Obama that no one else in the liberal media will say about his background, why he is the way he is, what he is doing to the country, motivation, why he's doing it. All of this time, I've interviewed Dinesh D'Souza 2 times for the Limbaugh letter about his 2 movies and about one of his books. I think he's even been on the program a couple times over the recent recent number of years. And all of this time, I was under the impression that Dinesh D'Souza got Obama. I was under the impression that Dinesh D'Souza knew Obama. I was under the impression that Dinesh D'Souza knew what we were up against. Turned out I was wrong in a very key way. Now this, I don't want anybody to misunderstand. This is not a criticism of D'Souza. It's an eye-opener about a lot of people on what I call our side. You remember back on January 16th of 2009, a few days before Obama was to be inaugurated. I mentioned on this program the Wall Street Journal had asked me to write 400 words, along with a lot of other people, on my hopes for the administration of the first African-American president, Barack Hussein. And I told you what I told them. I wrote back, I said, I don't need 400 words, all I need is 4 words. I hope he fails. Well, little old me, I assumed that virtually everybody that I knew, and even the people I knew of on our side, quote-unquote, among us conservatives, would know exactly what I meant and would agree with it. And then we all saw that apparently very few people agreed with it on our side, and many were aghast and appalled that such a thing would be said even before new president, the first African-American president, historic president, was inaugurated. How dare something like this be said? It would fuel those on the left who want to misportray those of us on the right. And I literally was, and I was wrong to be, I was surprised. The reason I was surprised was because I figured